quantity of labor, because you don't have much ladders to pick the apples, right? So in that case, the supply of other factors also shift the demand for labor. So remember, many students, they don't pay close attention to here. This is the supply, not the demand for other factors. Supply of other factors causes demand disturbance in labor. All right. Now, if you understand all this stuff, so please answer this question. If the price of airline ticket falls, what will happen to the demand for flight attendants? You tell me. Pavaroon, Manisha.
A.
You're saying A, right? Anyone else? Nana?
A.
Answer is not A, I think. Answer is B. Why? Because the price, what we talk about there, if the price of the ticket falls, right? Price of the ticket falls, the companies would be needing less flight attendants. Similarly, if the price of computers falls, people will be needing less software and less software programmers. All right.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
But if the price of ticket falls, won't the demand rise? And therefore the demand for flight attendants?
Basically, you are confused. You are confusing this with the, if the price of the ticket falls, right? It's sold gonna be rises. Quantity of tickets sold, customers gonna rises. But we talked about the demand of labor, and demand of labor depends on output prices. So this is flight attendants. So that's why in economy class you have less flight attendants. In luxury class you have more flight attendants as compared to the passengers. Now you understand?
Yes, sir.
So if you happen to see that in luxury class there are, for example, 12 seats. So for every 2% or 3% there is one flight attendant. But in economy class, for every 10 people or maybe 15 or 20 people, there is only one flight attendant. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Venetia, Pavaroon, now you understand? Okay, let's move forward. Okay. Now, up to now, what we have talked about, the demand for factor of production is derived demand. And we talk about what causes shift in one factor of production. All right. And now, supply of the factor of production. One factor of production is labor. All right. So let's just talk about the supply of labor. So supply of labor, sorry about that. The supply of labor, it depends on the trade-off between work and leisure. So which means why you want to be working rather than enjoying your life. So the more hours spent on working and less hours you have for watching TV, dinner with friends, pursuing hobbies, which means there is a trade-off. You have to sacrifice. There is no free lunch. We talked about in principles of economics. Either you are doing it, either you are not doing it. So if you are working, you are sacrificing something. All right, so there is a trade-off. So the supply of labor can reflect how workers decision about labor-layer trade-off respond to changes in opportunity costs. So supply is upward sloping. We talked about that. So the more the wages is offered to a person, his response to be a worker increases. So if you offer $1 to pick one bushel of apple, only very small number of people are ready, or maybe no one, or maybe very small quantity are ready because they have, mouths to feed, need to survive, right? But if you start increasing from 2, 10, or 100, more people started to join this profession of apple picking. So they are making themselves available to this market. So we call this the supply of worker increases if the price increases, and the price of the labor is called wages. Guys, you understand the concept of supply of worker? Now, the shift in supply curve, like we saw about the shift in demand curve. The shift in supply curve, which means more people are coming to the workforce. Number one, change in attitude and taste nowadays, because women are also coming to the work, so supply increases. Did wages increase? No, wages are the same, but supply of workers increases, right? And due to attitudes towards work or taste towards work. Some jobs are only for women oriented, and now when women's are there, so the supply of labor increases or shift to the right because that job suits to the women. For example, flower picking, for example, female nurses, right? Female waiters, female receptionists, right? Changes in alternative opportunities. What if the nature of the jobs are the same and one job is giving you higher salary, you will move to that profession. So you will available yourself to that profession more. So supply of that labor increases. For example, if wages earned by peer pickers suddenly rises, some workers will move to peer picking and supply of apple pickers will fall. Because peer picking is giving you more money. Think of yourself as you are a labor and you want to work, you are working in apple farm, and now you heard that the peer picking is going to give you more money. So you shift your profession to peer picking. So in apple picking, the apple picking supply decreases. So we call this changes in alternative opportunities. And the last one is immigration. Of course, when more people migrate to one place, supply of labor always increases. All right. So here we go. We have a supply, we have a demand, and intersection is called equilibrium. So any event that changes the supply or demand of labor must change the equilibrium wage and the value of marginal product of the labor. So this is the demand and this is the supply, right? So we have equilibrium here. So equilibrium of labor, the price is called wage, the quantity is called the equilibrium labor. Now shift in labor supply. What will happen if there is a shift? Do we have a new equilibrium? Yes, we do have. So labor supply and demand depend. So the labor supply and labor demand determines the equilibrium wage. So suppose immigrant increases and the number of workers willing to pick the apples are also increases. So what will happen? Supply shift to the right. When supply shift to the right, what happens? Wages decreases and we have more workers available to pick the apple. All right. So an increase in labor supply results in a surplus of labor because there are more quantity of labor or apple pickers are available. So it pushes the downward pressure on wages. Wages are so it makes it profitable for a firm to hire more workers. Why? Why? Because wages decreases and wages is a part of cost of production. Cost of production decreases, our profit will be maximum by producing that much quantity in our market structure. MC is equal to MR. Right? So there is a link between factor of productions and final product and to the maximization of the profit. Right? Now shift in labor demand. What if the demand increases? So an increase in labor demand makes it profitable for the firm to hire more workers, which means if the prices of apple rises, now the apple farmers or apple producers, they will demand more workers to come to work for them as a apple pickers. If nobody is coming, then they will be increasing the wages. So it causes the upward pressure on the wage. It raises the value of the marginal product of labor. So marginal product of labor multiply the price that they are offering. All right. So if the market price of the apple rises, how much apple they produce, their value of marginal product of labor rises. When value of marginal product of labor rises, and in equilibrium is equal to value of marginal product of labor is equal to wage. If value of marginal product of labor rises, it means wages are also rising.